Well, what's the crack, everybody? Welcome to another Buckshot. I know I did that very radio-y because I'm doing it all in one role here. Our guest is sitting with me and everything because, as I said on the Ramble Pod during the week, well, only actually the Patreons would have heard it, but I've gotten a new setup here. I was talking with Andy beforehand, and I'm a complete donkey when it comes to these things. It's Apple, so my editing skills will get a good going over. It'll be a steep learning curve with some Asian kids on YouTube over the weekend, which sounds already really creepy, but you know, they'll be teaching me what to do. So in other words, I'm rolling straight on into this. Thank you all very much for joining in. To the new patrons that joined this week, tip of the cap tea. I did message everybody, so fair fucking play tea. That's the crack. You would have gotten this last night, as you will hear on the Friday morning, Friday the 4th. You will have heard this, but if you're a Patreon, you would have gotten this ad-free last night. So if ads give you a pain in the hoop, just go over and become a Patreon. But, you know, as well as that, it does support the show, and you get the Ramble Pods exclusive to Patreon during the week. And every 3 weeks, we do a live ramble where we all have an old drink and a bit of crack, you know, yourself. As well as that, we have 2 stand-up shows that are on available right now. The one in the Limelight in Belfast on April 23rd. Tickets are on sale. Look down in the show notes if you want to come. Grab them. As well, of course, I'm going to be in Dublin on May 5th at the Wild Duck Comedy Club with my brand new show, Clattered. That's all we have to say about the rest of that. Introducing, I would say the most frequently returning guest, but somebody you can just turn on Andy McCarroll and he's just great. There's no mining for info there. We could end up on any plateau, any mountaintop conversationally. It's weird, but Andy McCarroll, welcome back to Buckshot, brother.
What an introduction. You can turn on Andy McCarroll and you don't know where you're going to get. Fantastic.
Yeah. We're going to get me too.
Tinder bio there. And I thought you were doing the radio voice in honor for me, who was known as the Face 4 Radio.
Hey, you're speaking to your brother right now. Look ahead of me, for God's sake. But yeah, do you know what? Normally I wouldn't. I would just rip straight into it. But I felt under pressure there because you were here. You were literally looking directly at me. So I was like, oh, I better do something. I better do something. And then I had the self-awareness to thankfully catch myself on, and I don't think,
guys, got a great guest here.
I don't think I'd bother with radio. I don't know if I'd fit in these days. I don't think I'd fit in with radio. It's a bit of a
based on this week. No, there's a few up and downs on that case.
Jesus.
But, yeah. I'd say you would last half a day in 2FM before you were either cancelled or in jail.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just too real. I'm just too real.
I did Joe Rogan of Irish radio. Then
I didn't get booted off, but everything changed. I had a Monday morning kind of slot with 2FM, and then one particular morning, which the patrons will have heard the full story on, which I can't really say out loud, but I'll tell you afterwards. Like, I got sent down an avenue of conversation that I did not want to. And the following week, it was like, yeah, we're restructuring, Tom. I was like,
yeah,
I fucking knew it. This was a sweet little number. It was selling gigs for me, and it was making a few pound. And I got sent, and I shouldn't have taken the bait, but it sent me down a road, and I was like, oh, you fuckers. But it took like 3 tweets to bitch about it. I was like, come on, man, come on. But I think it was my realness, if that's a word. I think that's what was probably too much.
Yeah,
for me, kind of way.
That hair and mustache isn't built for a corporate environment.
To be fair, at the time, I didn't have either. I definitely had hair and I had the ability to grow a mustache, but I didn't have the ensemble that is going on right now. It'd be a bit too much for anybody, especially.
I feel like you're rubbing that in because I have neither of those things, neither hair nor the ability to grow a mustache.
Do you not?
No, I just look like a smooth egg.
I wonder has that been, because you know you see old pictures, like every fucking fella has a mustache. What's the crack there?
Because they were men back in the days, and I'm one of these new soy boys. Just, you know.
Soy boy. I've never heard somebody refer to them as a soy boy. What is a soy boy? Is that somebody who doesn't drink milk? It just takes, or
they can't. They're lactose intolerant. They're not even hard enough to, process dairy, apparently, which is a sign of a real man. You drink dairy, you watch Zack Snyder films, and you tell women, abuse them on the internet. That's the 3 goals of a real man these days.
Just let me take that note again. So Zack Snyder, you say, right?
Yeah.
I have the mustache. How are you keeping anyway? You've stayed. I know we talked during the depths of lockdown. We're both trying to come up with ways, but you stayed as busy as a man can stay.
Yeah, it kind of worked out a bit in my favor because I was starting to get, normally what we do is for the movie reviews and stuff, you do a junket, and there's a very select few get to, it's usually in a hotel in London. It's very like, if anyone's seen Notting Hill with Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts, where he's like the Horse and Hound magazine, he shows up, you go to a hotel, there's about 50 other journalists in there, you get called in, you do like 5 minutes at a time, they're answering the same questions, for 6 hours a day, and then you go off. But then because of this, and because Zoom is so easy, you were like, oh great, we can just cut people off and there's no awkward in between times, we can do as many interviews as we want. So they were just on the press tour for that, so I ended up doing like a lot of interviews that I probably wouldn't have got only for likes of like Peter Capaldi or your man John Bernthal, who plays the Punisher, people who normally wouldn't have got, but because we're all on Zoom now, I'm getting these great guests on. And
that's class. Like, because the way you were saying it, I thought, oh, this is working in favor of the production company, but it ended up working back in favor of you too, because you're like, sure, look it.
It is to a certain extent. Like, there was, funny you should say that, it was actually this week there was a thing on Mark Kermode and Simon Mayo where they had an interview with Helen Mirren.
Right.
And how it works is you do the interview, and then afterwards the publicity team will send you on the recording of it.
Yeah.
And what happened was he had asked her a question, and when he got the recording back, that was cut out.
Really?
And rather than just leave it, was a fairly innocuous question. Like, he asked her and she said, look, I don't really want to talk about that. And I was like, grand. And because they cut that out, he just went on this rant about how, like, you are editing what I've done, we didn't agree to this. And then it became like a huge thing. So rather than just leave this thing that no one's going to give a damn about in, it's just like, fair play to him. He nipped it in the bud where they could see that as, okay, we're going to censor and twist this into whatever we want to be now. Because I think everyone since that Liam Neeson incident is just terrified of that happening to them.
We talked about that the last time. All right. Oh Lord. Well, he brushed it off handy enough though, all the same, didn't he? Like, what's the trick, do you reckon? Because some people can wash the funk off themselves. Like, Colin Farrell's sex tape. Like, he still went on to have an amazing career even after that horrendous. Is there?
To be fair, that would probably be in the top 5 of his films.
It's when I heard.
Actually, just to name drop on that, I got to interview him when he was over for Dumbo.
Oh yeah.
And I made it was a joke about
breakfast, dinner, and lunch.
It wasn't actually about that, but he thought it was. What was it again? Oh yeah, I was
not even joking.
We were getting the pictures at the end of it, and I stand next and I turned and I said, I've never felt as fucking ugly in my life. And he goes, you have about 6 inches on me because I'm a bit taller than him. And I went, Asher, you have it where it counts. And I was like, oh shit, he thinks I'm talking about the sex tape. And he just cracked up laughing and then absolutely leathered me across the arse and went, you got me there. And I was like, shit, no, that's not what I meant. But
fair play.
Dumbo wasn't the only thing in that film with a bit of a trunk on them, put it that way.
Fair play, because that, like Hollywood actors, that could go fucking any which way, like, you know what I mean?
And I genuinely didn't mean it like that. I was like, oh shit, like this is the end of me now. Because
there is, I mean, immediately from his point of view is going, that guy saw my dick. I liked it. Cool. Because you'd imagine that, like the volume of offers that man has gotten versus your average man down through the years, he might have banged you, is what I'm saying, just out of interest.
He could have.
Yeah, he's that hot, like he is that good.
It is one of those things where you see someone on the screen and then you see them in real life, and like it did annoy me for about 30 seconds as he was walking towards me. I was just like, all men are created equal, my bollocks.
Yeah,
like everything, like the hair, everything is just perfect, and it's just one of those people that just oozes charisma, and you just
Yeah.
like 2 seconds after you talk, like, hi Colin, hi.
You're just on the ball of 1 foot on the ground. Like,
Oh yeah, like I would have lost
stop it.
all critical integrity there. He'd have said Dumbo's 5 stars. Like, yeah, no, it's just 6 stars, Colin, 6 stars. So you can kind of see why they put people out for those press junkets, kind of, fool people like me into thinking things are better than they are.
Yeah, because I've seen him interviewed on things before, and they've kind of gone. He was on Conan O'Brien, and Conan O'Brien was like, I mean, technically, you're supposed to be more Irish than me, but good God, man, have you seen you? He's like, well, you're a fucking anomaly. That's what you are. What the hell? I look at what? It's like, yeah, well, there's obviously some Spaniard somewhere down the line, because even during his drinking and drugging days, he still looked mint. You know what I mean? When you're going, oh, you look dog rough, but class dog rough, like, you know what I mean? Like the hair and you're like,
it looks like it wasn't like Pete Doherty kind of,
oh no,
that
fucked.
kind of rough.
Yeah,
like he showed up to like, oh, I'm in bits. I'm on drinking drugs with like a white open short, a leather jacket, and Britney Spears on his arm. It's like there's levels to this game.
Yeah. You're not getting a chicken fillet roll in a fucking, an apple green, like just dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at least Hasselhoff had the video where he's eating the burger, the Hofburger off the ground. Like, he did, at least he lost a bit of dignity doing that. I think he actually gained some, Colin Farrell did.
Do you know what? There's nothing safe with you, but you've some memory when it comes to just recounting like awkward moments for people that were, it's like, are you the bloke on the night out, like, who'll go, or,
No, I'm the one that happens to. It's like, oh, you
okay.
don't, no, yeah.
Where the fear comes up the back of your neck, like,
stop. No, I'm the one that wakes up the next day going, oh, good Jesus, no, I just, no filter. I'm bad enough sober, so you can imagine with a few drinks.
What's Dublin like? Have you been out and about, or have you been just working flat out from home, or what's the crack? Like, because I'm gone out of the place since, Jesus, nearly a year. Coming up on a year.
I haven't had, like, it's the main places I'd be going. Like, the first time I'd been in a sold out like cinema in 2 years was for Batman on Monday.
The other night.
Like, this was like, yeah, and it was literally, the first time with no masks, the first time with all the restrictions lifted, and like there is that kind of tension that you weren't really expecting.
Yeah. We were all a bit bold, honest, like.
Yeah, like, you do kind of wait for someone to go in and go, "Put your fucking mask back on," or sit away from each other. That was part of it I actually did enjoy, because I hate anyone sitting next to me in the cinema, because I just, for about 20 minutes of a film, I get anxiety, because I'm just kind of looking around going, there's going to be an arsehole, there's going to be someone who's going to be on their phone, there's going to be someone who's going to be talking.
Yeah,
that's why I love the press screenings, because it's literally, they take your phone off you going in. If you open your mouth, there's 2 security guards either side tell you shut the fuck up. But I've like a radar for it now, where I can see someone walking in, I go, you're going to be the trouble one.
Give us the pointers, because I always seem to get these dickheads.
Anyone who walks in late is going to be, anyone who comes in with shopping bags.
Oh, anyone
who comes in using their light as a phone to find their seat.
Dickhead. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I just do that Joker thing. It's like, I know the squealers when I see them, and they just, it's like a radar. Like, they just go right beside me every single goddamn time. Jeez. There was one up in, we went to the square in Halloween to see Annabelle, and your one in front of me didn't have a phone. She had like one of them Galaxy Note things.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Which is like the size of a fucking laptop. And the whole way through the film, she was getting sent, I think at one point I counted 15 different penises on Snapchat, and was like, just that, showing it to her friend, showing it this, and then look at this guy sending me, look at this. Then she's taking pictures of the screen, sending them back. And I was like, why are you here? Like, there's 4 of you there. This has cost, the guts of about 60, 70 quid for all you used to come here. And you've spent the whole time talking, looking at flutes.
But do you know what? That is the problem with putting a cinema inside a fucking shopping center, because the Great Unwashed, regardless of which side of the city of any place it is, if you have it's always the fucking way, because people will meander in. What you need is a cinema. Fucking, do you know what was a great cinema? Probably one of the best cinemas in the country was Nace. because you have to make a commitment to get to it. There's no meandering. You sure as fuck aren't turning up with your shopping. It's right by the motorway. So nobody's wandering up there. And the amount of times, like on a Wednesday or Thursday, man, not a sinner. And it's literally half the price of any Dublin one.
Yeah.
So you're in there like a third full. Back in the regular times, it was a third full. Best one all around.
That'd be my idea of having now. Just a cinema on my own with nobody around me.
We went, it was a Friday night. We couldn't believe our luck. It was a great movie. Shit. I need your brain when it comes to movies. But literally went in and nobody showed up. It was just the two of us. And it was at one point I was kind of going, are they going to come in and go, like they'd shut off a gig if there was only two people show up. But they were like, this is okay, we're playing it then. So we found ourselves scooching right to the middle. And it was just a beautiful fucking moment. But anytime I've gone to Dundrum or I've gone to Tala, you're taking your ticket in your hand, really, or your chances, because you're going, just like that. I never understood. I'll get a few bits. That's what I'll do. I'll get a few bits while I'm out, and then I'll catch a movie. You're like, fuck off home, you prick. You have no business in here.
Or people who if you don't like it, leave. Don't sit there talking about how much you don't like it. Like we went to see The Godfather, like a re-release of them this week, and we went, myself and the girlfriend went on Sunday, and these three teenagers came. It sounds like an old man shouting at cloud. These goddamn teenagers, get off my lawn.
That's fine. You're amongst me. I've been saying that so much lately. These goddamn teenagers.
And I felt like they walked in. I was like, oh, they're not. No, they don't have the capacity to sit through a 3-hour, meandering mafia drama. And sure enough, within 20 minutes, thankfully they were gone, but it was 20 minutes of phone control. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. I was like, the 3 hours of this left, you're not going to last. Thankfully they left, because I just have this thing where I can't concentrate then. I'm just staring at them the whole time. Just wanting to be annoyed. I've got the Larry David disease.
Yeah. Go digging, nearly kick the back of their seat to see if, go on, say something else. Go on, you fucker, say something else. I know it's, and the price of a ticket too, I think that's nearly what kills me, because you might pay up to have you been to the snazzy one that's one of the few things that I wished I did before we left Dublin, but obviously lockdown was on and all the rest of it, was the fancy one in Rathmines.
Stella. Yeah, I've been there a few times. It's not something I would go to see a film I haven't seen, because I'm stupid, because I'm a snob. The sound in that place isn't fantastic. It's built as a theater for the sound to carry. It's not built for a cinema.
Yes.
So it's not, I don't know, I'm sure somebody who knows more about sound engineering would tell me, it doesn't seem like it's insulated properly.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas it's very echoey, as opposed to, like a proper decent sound system. You get somewhere like, the Lighthouse or the IFI have fantastic sound systems. But it just always feels like it's like an echo or a reverb anytime. Like, it's great, you sit on the couch and, it's comfortable. But again, people bring in like meals and you're getting like different smells of stuff, and there's
fuck that.
People having the cocktails. Like, no,
I need to know no more. I just thought it was like, you can booze in here. That was, but people having their grub. Fuck all that.
I'm like, if people bring crisps into a cinema, I'm like, no, that's
you're a terrible human.
It's a bit fancy for me now.
As crunchy as I allow it to get would be maybe minstrels, the hard shell on the outside of a minstrel, and louder in the octaves above that, and you can fuck right out.
Thing you're saying about drinking in the cinema, the Lighthouse does they've got a thing called Hollywood Babylon, where they play these like films that you wouldn't expect. Like the last week I went to see one was Under Siege, the Steven Seagal thing.
Oh yeah, I would.
So you get like me and the two lads went, and we're absolutely hammered, like just watching that. But the best cinema experience I ever had there is they showed Rocky 4.
Stop.
And they were doing cocktails called Rocky Balcolas.
Okay, somebody in the Lighthouse has their shit switched on, like literally.
Charlene Linden, her name is. She does like the programming for it. She's the absolute business.
What a legend.
But the screen was full, like the whole place was full. Rocky 4 is perfect for that, because it's basically 2 fights, 4 montages, and I think 1 scene in the whole film. And by about 20-30 minutes into the film, everyone was gee-eyed. So they started shouting at the screen like it was a real fight. So there's people getting up out of the sea, going, "Go on, Rocky, go on, go on!" And
Like
it was fantastic.
Oh, the only time I've ever experienced something that dramatic from the audience was it was a Michael Madsen movie. Was it Strength and Honor? Please tell me you've seen
I've
it.
never even heard of this.
Oh
When you said Michael Madsen film, I was like, this can go anywhere.
I can't believe I've just given you a movie that you've never heard of. He joined. It was made purely for an American audience because he joined in the same way somebody would move on to a Native American reservation. He ended up joining a traveler family, an American, as an American, like, and in the same way you might ended up be given a ceremony when they finally agree that you're okay and you're part of the gang. He might give you a ceremonial headdress or, I don't know, a fucking tribal tattoo or something with the Maoris or something. They gave him a leather jacket. You have to watch it. Please watch it. I want to hear
Strength and Honor. Yes.
I'm nearly sure that's the name of it.
I'll find that now. Oh my God.
Yes, Vinnie Jones is in it.
Of course he is.
Because I remember meeting him in two places like I said, meeting them. I came out of a comedy. I was in Clonmel and the coursing was on in Clonmel at the time. And there was Vinnie Jones and whatchamacallit. And somebody, a guy I knew said, "Do you want to meet Vinnie Jones?" I went, "Okay, that sounds reasonable on a Thursday." But apparently, like, he was the president of the Clonmel Coursing Association. Like, yeah.
What's coursing?
Do you remember in Snatch?
Yeah. Chase the rabbits?
Yeah.
You don't chase rabbits, do you?
Oh, God. Oh, no. That form of sport, I have no interest in that. No, I was literally on the street. That was it. And it's the coursing stadium. They muzzle the dogs now. So it's just to turn the rabbit over. Basically, give them a cartwheel. They don't actually eat it anymore, I don't think. But it's still a fucking rough afternoon for a rabbit. Or a hare. It's a hare, actually. But that didn't transpire anyway. Loads of people were swamped. And then the following Saturday night, I was coming out of a comedy club in Cork. And there, standing outside a hotel, was Michael Madsen and Madison. Is it Madsen or Madison? Madsen. Sparking up a cigar with Vinnie Jones. And their lighter wouldn't work. So I was smoking at the time. I walked over and just, there you go, boys. But as normal as could be. And Vinnie Jones went to pocket my lighter. Went, and I was like, I'm not fucking going all the way home now without a fucking. But I was wondering, I was going, what has them two? They're hardly purely the course dragged fucking Michael Madsen over here. Turns out they were making this movie Strength and Honor. I went to see it in Cork. And large swathes of the traveller community were at it. And I mean, they're brilliantly animated people anyway, at the best of times. By God, man. That is a movie experience. Myself and my brother, we had to, because like we thought we were getting in early. We were getting in, 15 minutes beforehand. No. This was like fucking, this is like going to fucking Lourdes for these lads. They were in way before, and they were so pumped for this movie. And the whole way through it, like, it was just lads standing up on seats and everything, like, and no alcohol, like, from what I could see. There was just a lot of animation for people. Like, oh God, I can't wait till you watch that. It's beyond brutal, but I can't wait for you to see it.
I'm dying for this now because I'm going from The Godfather to Strength and Honor.
I mean, the name kind of suggests that something decent might happen. But trust me, it's maybe you'll see something, because you find movies, I mean, you know what a movie is supposed to do. You know, that kind of way. In fairness, you have a good eye for what a movie, whereas your average person like me isn't needed. Like, I look at it all right for the story arc. I can tell that. But as far as actually constructing a movie, I wouldn't have a great fucking notion of it. Because I've seen you sometimes kind of go, "Tom, this is a fucking class movie." Yeah. Like, did you like Eternals? Am I missing something there? Because
I liked it because of what it wasn't as formulaic as everything else. Like, it tried to do something different with that, because every film of that genre, and it's kind of the problem I had with the new Batman film as well, they've tried to make they have like Marvel have a formula now. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you get the powers, you do the thing, the world falls apart. Yeah, this kind of had like a fractious, family element in the middle of it. And I also think your man was like the best version of like Superman we've seen on screen, and since Christopher Reeve, even though he wasn't actually playing Superman. I liked that element of it where it wasn't, they're not fighting a big giant laser in the sky. It's just them kind of falling out with each other. It wasn't brilliant, but I did like that it's like we're taking chances and doing something and trying to move it in a different direction. And of course, the film didn't do well because it tried to do something a bit different and everybody hated it. So it means we'll get 5 Spider-Men in the next film now instead of 3, just to, make film making by committee again.
It looked like they were, there's a thing like when you're doing stand-up, and if you're prepping for a new show, you start building in your new stuff in between trialed and tested stuff. Like I'm popping out to Stephen now. I'm only doing a quick 15 minutes up the road, but I'm going to do just all new stuff and just walk away from it. But typically what you would do is you'd crowbar in a bit of new stuff. Now, because it's all brand new, untrial stuff, it may be like Eternals in that it could go fucking fall flat in its face and gather no momentum. I think that's maybe where they went wrong. They could have sandwiched in a bit, either end of, you know what I mean? Like it was like, you're trying something all, and there's too many fucking characters here with character flaws throughout the whole fucking thing. It's like, Jesus Christ, I understand you all have a fucking thing going on, but come on, like.
But that's why I think like the kind of comparison that I'm doing with like Spider-Man No Way Home opens, like, I think that was the next Marvel one after that. So I think they're kind of getting the wrong ideas, or they're taking the wrong lessons from one. So Eternals, they've said, okay, we tried something different, that didn't work, we're never doing it different ever again. And now we're doing Spider-Man where we're bringing back the other people. I was like, oh, people love that. And you see it now. The next one is Doctor Strange. It's like, oh, you thought bringing back Spider-Man was good. We're bringing back fucking X-Men. We're bringing back, Scarlet Witch from the other. We're going to bring back every fucking, Zippy and Bungo, Zig and Zag are going to be in this film. It's like, that's not a story. It's just.
I want to see Arnie back as fucking Mr. Freeze.
This is the second show in a row where someone has said that to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the writing is on the wall. There's no smoke without fire. Tell us, come on. Is that it?
There's this young fella, Daniel Fee, does these comic reviews, and we were talking about Batman, what you want. And he said, I'd love to see like the Spider-Man No Way Home, but they bring there's a multiverse of Batman and get see Arnie do Mr. Freeze again. I was like, would you fuck off? And then the next one, you come out and say the same thing. So apparently I'm in the minority here.
Jesus, I mean, why not? At this stage, you could fucking give it a go. CGI the head off him, sure, it'd be grand, like. No, sure, Arnie's.
Just on the Eternals thing, I got to interview Barry Keoghan for that.
Oh, I saw that.
That was the first junket back, and to kind of show like this, the new age shouting at clouds thing. A friend of mine sent me. I was like, oh, I see your Barry Keoghan thing. It's up to 2.5 million views. I was like, what? Oh, fantastic! Sends me the link. Some prick on TikTok is after clipping out a bit where I'm talking to him, doing this like weird voiceover where it's like, oh my god, Barry's face looks so cute in this and all. And the thing is 2.5 million views, and I'm there like the full interview has I think like 30 or 40,000 views. I was like, you had to go to the trouble of clipping that out, sticking that in, putting terrible subtitles over it, and that's worked for you.
Freak. Somebody. Although there has to be some party. Oh no, actually, the fucker completely ripped you off. Actually, no, I had I got messages a couple of years ago. Somebody had completely set up a page using loads of not my material, but like sketches and my face and stuff like that. I can't remember what they called the page, but it was like they were basing us completely. I was going to be their linchpin or whatever they were fucking going to start doing out of it. Like, but it was a moment. A little bit of me was like, it's just nice to be ripped off a little bit, albeit you have 30,000 fucking followers for some reason. Christ above. The actual bloke can't fucking get that, but
also I was like, I need to hire this guy for my marketing, like, because I'm clearly doing something wrong that he's doing right.
Well, you're doing all right. In fairness, is it Comic-Con you're going to be hosting, or
Dublin Comic-Con on the 12th and 13th of March this month, so not next week, the week after.
Where is it on? Because I was on a debate committee for a Comic-Con one time, and people were going, the fuck is he doing? But people were like, but it was about the world of Tolkien. and all that. And I was asked, I think it was Johnny that at the time he was running the comedy club in that show. He goes, "You like the Lord of the Rings, don't you?" I went, "Yeah." "Would you be able to talk on it?" I was like, "Yeah, if there's fucking subject matter, yeah, of course I can. Yeah." And I remember meeting, but of course I didn't dress up. I was the only person who didn't dress up, Andy, and that's where I'm getting. Maybe stick your head in the door and have something in the car.
I've never done it. That's one thing I don't like. You see all these amazing costumes. It's just something that never appealed to me. I didn't get the.
There was a lot of amazing ones.
One avenue
a lot of
of
shit
nerd
ones too.
It's like, I don't know, because I read comic books, I watch all the superhero films, I do all that. I think, or else if I stay away from Dungeons and Dragons and I don't do cosplay, then I'm not fully, I'm not typical comic book guy. Where I fully am. I've like a full arm of Heath Ledger's Joker tattooed on me. Like I'm pretending like, oh no, I'm above all this because I don't play one certain aspect of it. Like
it's like a junkie going, "I know, I wouldn't touch the crack cocaine would fuck you up and all. But I do have track marks up my arm from fucking heroin. It's the walking man's drug."
As I say, with my literal background being a fucking extra vision.
I know, yeah.
That Dublin Comic Con does be good crack.
Sorry, I never got to see. I remember you telling me you were going to get the full Joker tattoo on your arm. Have you posted a picture of it? I won't get you.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, I'll send it on to you.
How the fuck did I miss that? Did you put it up on Instagram? Like?
On the gram, yes. I'll be a while ago now. I wouldn't be repost. Again, another thing that ended up on Reddit with like, it was like 2 million something, whatever it was on it. And again, got sent to me and I was like, I didn't post this. Somebody just posted my tattoo, pretended it was theirs. And they were like in the comments answering questions about how long it took and all this. And I was like,
what the fuck?
And again, it was one of those things I was like, oh, I'll show it. I was like, somebody posted, like, what am I going to get? Reddit coins or something like that? Talking about bollocks. I was like, yeah, no, that's grand. Have at it.
I remember hearing it was an interview with Michael Keaton, who, in my opinion, I think he's one of the best actors. When you look at his body of work, Jesus.
I'll give you my ridiculous piece of, you say I've got useless information in trivia. Do you know Michael Keaton's real name?
Brendan.
Michael Douglas.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, fuck Michael Douglas anyway. He's a way better actor than Michael Douglas.
Yeah, stole his name before he even started.
Right. Holy fuck.
There's your useless bit of information for the day.
He was doing I think they were filming Birdman or something anyway that was in a big city like New York. And it was a bit of downtime, grub or whatever, a break on of the day, and one of the runners on the set came over and said, "Michael, there's a guy over here on a bike and he's got the coolest tattoo. It's so well done, you have to see it." He was like, well, all right. And he walked over, as he's Michael Keaton. He walked over, and this guy, he's on his bike like he's young New York, fucking Deliveroo cyclist, whatever. He's like, and the guy, the runner had stopped him to go, stop. I need to have a look at your tattoo. And the guy was like, right, you've seen it now. Can I go? And he's like, no, you need to meet this guy. He was like, who's this guy? And Michael Keaton turns up. He's like, and it's impeccably done. Beetlejuice on his leg. His whole calf is Beetlejuice, like impeccable. Oh. And Michael Keaton's looking at us like, that's really cool. And that's cool, right? Yeah, it's cool. And the guy was looking at him like going, yeah. What the fuck do you want, old man? Like, he's like, right. And he just left the guy on. He went, we'll see you around. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. He had no idea who was looking at him. I mean, like, at least you have absolute love for the Joker. Like, even before you got that tattoo, I remember you telling me about getting that tattoo. But can you imagine being that much of a fucking knob that you sit hours, pay hundreds of dollars, and get your leg tattooed and meet Beetlejuice and not know it? Like
I'm just actually speechless. Like, why would you do that and not know who? To put something like, I know some people have loads of tattoos and they don't particularly have any meaning to them, or it's just like, oh, I thought that looked cool, but it wouldn't appeal to me at that. And I'm kind of like, I wouldn't have got that of like Joaquin Phoenix or something, because what terrifies me is a friend of mine got like a Michael Jackson tattoo before everything came out, and I was like, grand, So at least, unfortunately, Heath Ledger is dead, so I don't think he's going to be
Oh,
too many
that's the guys you
revelations.
get a tattoo of. That's
yeah.
the guy. Which I mean, the actual character that he played, Joker, he would probably just fit on your arm, life size, given the fucking size he got down to for it. Like just,
yeah.
But yeah, I love that your faith in Joaquin Phoenix. Like he might turn out to be a pervert. I'm just saying.
There's very few people that have come. I was like, oh yeah, no, I saw that one coming. Like so that's why I didn't get my Harvey Weinstein tattoo on the other arm now. So I'm
really, because you were saying that, the first time,
Interesting. I was gonna get Harvey on one arm, Bob on the other, and just
Who's Bob? Which one is Bob?
The brother. The Weinstein brothers.
Was Bob a filthy bastard as well?
No, but they were. The two of them were just absolute lunatics. Like they had just basically, I'm reading a book about it at the moment. They're just berating people. It was like every cliche you could possibly think of. Just absolute
I'll make you a star,
racist, misogynist bastards, basically, that somehow ended up, running the biggest studio in Hollywood for a while until everything came out, and that was the end of that.
Fucking hell. Yeah, he definitely got hung out to dry because he can't be the only fella who was a complete, scumbag. Like, I mean, fucking Bill Cosby is going, walking out of prison the other day doing fat art. What the fuck? How are you back out? But what I wanted to ask you about Comic-Con is that you're getting to fucking interview Ron Perlman.
Yes.
That now has to be, no offense to Barry Keoghan or Keegan. Is it Keegan or Keoghan? Keoghan. But Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
I'd say even Barry'd fucking love to interview him.
Dying for that. And he's 72.
Stop the lights.
Yeah. Again, this is me. I'm reading his book at the moment. And he's like he just got divorced. He's going with I think a 41-year-old or 42-year-old woman now.
Oh,
well, he looks the absolute business. Like he's 71. He still looks like he tear the head off you. Like I'm genuinely frightened to say like usually at Comic-Con it's like kind of the actor types. He's like it's Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek. If you say the wrong thing, what the fuck's he gonna do? Whereas Ron Perlman, if I ask him a question he doesn't like, I could definitely see him putting his fist through my head. He
does look like he'd eat barbed wire, right? And that's I'm so glad a fella like him has kept kept up work and been able to keep, because he's not in any way, he's not a pretty man. He's got astoundingly masculine, like in that women would still find him attractive. People, full stop, would find him attractive, but he's not he's not Chris Hemsworth's.
No, and he has the I can't think of the name of the thing off the top of my head, but it's the same, basically the growth disease that that Andre the Giant and you
can hear it in the voice, sure. It's I didn't realize he had it. So it's kind of apparently it's a cavity behind the nose that creates an echo that makes him up. But has he made it pay? Like he does all the UFC
it just
promos.
Works for him. The voice is fantastic.
Oh man, you go through a wall for that fella. If you imagine him just voicing over anything you were about to do.
It's one of them that he could narrate you making a fucking cup of coffee, and you're like, this sounds like the coolest, most epic thing.
You have to get him to do something for you. You have to get him to do something for you. Do you know what I mean?
The one I have, well, obviously I want them to do something for the show, but the thing, when I'm doing like this, I go way too deep with research because I'm terrified of, the whole conversation ground into a halt. So I'm reading through his book at the moment. I'm going through all the stuff he used to do, and I found out he'd done a play years ago of A Few Good Men, where he played the Jack Nicholson character.
So he would be class.
I really want him to do the "You Can't Handle the Truth" moment. Like that's my goal, to try and get him to do that at Comic-Con.
That he loved that now, because I would imagine, because that wouldn't be one that you're good for rooting out the old nuggets, like, you know what I mean? More than that, he'd actually be way more believable as the Jack Nicholson character in the movie right now, wouldn't he? Like
you could definitely see him as the head of an army giving code reds to people and telling them they can't handle the truth.
Why can I not remember it? The latest one, that Leonardo DiCaprio, and he was in it as well. And fucking the meteor.
Don't look up.
Don't look up. I could have left the whole movie, but I loved his character in it.
Yeah,
it was like he was brilliantly silly the whole way through it. Anytime he got, I wanted to see way more of that guy, because they were going down the silly route with a few things.
It
And
was a
then
mess of a film.
it was all over. Thank
like-
God you said that, because myself and herself were watching it going, this is a mess, isn't it? And then I see other people going, class. Like, I don't know. It's like three different people got a hand in fucking directing it.
It's just, it was like, okay, we're going to be serious, we're going to be silly, and then there's like this aliens at the end, and it was people like this. No, you didn't like it because you don't understand. It's actually about the environment. I was like, yeah, I know. It wasn't a fucking subtle point it was making.
Yeah.
Can I blow your mind? Most films are also about something else.
Yeah. It was, and they knocked the bollocks out of that joke with the food where he took a tenner off or whatever for the grub.
I was like, that's a good joke. And then it's like the fourth time, I was like, no, okay, it was funny the first two. Like, just...
Oh, tell me this. What am I missing with Dune, please? With Dune. What am I missing?
Now, I amn't a science fiction fan at all, but to me, right, one, the director, Denis Villeneuve, he done Prisoners, he done Sicario, if you haven't seen them.
Love Sicario, yeah.
But to me, that was the first time, probably since Lord of the Rings, where I've watched the film and gone, okay, this looks like a world that's lived in. There, I can see the dichotomy, the hierarchy of all the different things. Like the different areas, the different planets looked different. It wasn't, let's say, like the Mandalorian, and I do like the Mandalorian, but it just looks like this whole thing takes place in a green screen.
Yeah, it's all Morocco.
And even like there is scenes that where you can see the sets, like the wooden lats going across, like, but this was like, you know, the machines were all like, it sounds like a silly, insignificant thing, but they're all scuffed up. There's marks on things. One tribe looks different than another tribe. There's the kind of the hierarchy of, you know, the royalty with, you know, what's his name, Timothée Chalamet and Oscar Isaacs, the relationship with them. Jason Momoa, I thought was fantastic in it. I thought he really got the performances out of people who you wouldn't particularly expect to do well. Like Jason Momoa, for what he is usually, hey bro, you know, that I thought he was the actually
beard, though. He's a different fellow without the beard.
Oh yeah,
he's not as beautiful without.
He needs to grow. It does give me kind of hope. I'm looking at it going, if I grew a beard, will I be as handsome as Jason Momoa? Absolutely not. But a boy can dream. I just have the first time I was like, oh, this is an actual place, like with actual people. This isn't, you know, there isn't 15 people on the other side of, you know, this in shorts with a sound mic. This actually feels like a real world, and it built a story in a way I hadn't seen since Lord of the Rings. Where at the end of it, and it didn't feel like, I know it's like part one of like the series, but I didn't feel like, okay, this is all set up for something else. Like if they don't make parts 2 and 3, that's a perfectly good film on its own, which I don't think films that are trilogies usually do. It's usually like, oh, here's a lot of filler, wait till you get the next one, then we're going to make a film. I'm like, well, no, I've paid my 15 quid to see this now. Give me a fucking film.
For me, it's kind of a one, you know, you come back to again, you're like, okay, yeah, all right. I think some of it possibly, I think I had a bit of a negative mindset watching it for some reason. And I love a good sci-fi movie, but I can't fault anything that you said. It was like, yeah, you know, it did look sharp. Everything looked, it looked, you knew money went into this, like, because you're like, oh, this does all look, it looks, it doesn't feel like I was watching, you know, the Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah.
It really was. But I felt, maybe I'm just getting fucking impatient. I thought they could have put a bit more pace on it. Like, come on now. If we shave 15 minutes off the top, we would tighten this whole thing up. I just got a feeling like, oh, we're dragging it over the coast because we want to get to the 2-hour 45-minute mark or whatever it was. But other than that, I did like the idea of, even down to the things that were explained in the suits, you know, how it wicks water off your body. Gross. And then you drink it back to, or whatever way. but
I like I never felt, I've had a few people have said that, or, you know, you could shave 15, 20 minutes off it. I have to say that's one of the few things where I'd watch it and go, it didn't feel the length of it there. Whereas I could watch, you know, a film that's an hour and a half and I was like, this feels like I've been sitting here for fucking days. Like,
yeah, fair enough. The now what's coming up? See, we've, quite in fairness, Andy, we've done very well. We've pretty much stayed in our wheelhouse for the entirety so far. We haven't gone weird like we have the last few times. Like, this is, I feel like
you're very disappointed in me now.
No, I'm actually proud of us because we were expecting. Now, we did start before this. We were actually talking about recipes and whatnot, or why a fucker would do such a thing. But the reason why I would love to talk more, but most people who would listen to myself and McBride tear that particular subject a fucking sunder. We went to town on that particular subject where somebody, you know, you go looking for, I just want simple. How do I make simple bread? Well, this one time we were in the Catskills and it was amazing. But actually, speaking of the Catskills, a TV show, because you are a TV fan as well. Yep. Have you watched The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
I haven't. No.
Oh, that's good. That's a good show.
I've had that recommended to me now a couple of times. So
It's
I don't know why. It's one of those, like Ozark. Like I watched 2 episodes of Ozark. I'm like, this is great. Never watched it again.
Yeah, very same. I dipped out. Now, as a stand-up comic, I probably, maybe that's why I stuck with it a little bit. It was like, and my wife loved it because at the beginning, those roles were a partners with the comic. But but what it is, the writing is like you don't get a breath the whole way through. It's like, oh, I haven't blinked or switched off through this whole thing. They just keep the ball in the air through. It's really, really sharp writing. You'd like it. You would like it. That's really good.
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Strength and Honor. They're 2 very. I think they're going to be wildly varying in quality of enjoyment.
Yellowstone.
I enjoy them both for different.
Now Yellowstone
I have started.
Yeah,
I'm a big Western head. Have you seen Power of the Dog actually as well?
No, I have not. I'm looking forward. Yeah, I haven't. That popped up as a kind of a recommendation, possibly from things like watching Yellowstone and stuff like that. It popped up as a recommendation. No, I haven't. Who's in that?
Benedict Cumberbatch and Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons. It's not. If you don't go into it thinking it's a good, the bad, the ugly type of Western. Yeah. It's more on the side of the kind of Brokeback Mountain Western.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is absolutely fantastic. And if you're not just Sam Elliott, Sam Elliott, he absolutely went to town. He's like, this goddamn woman directing a film with a bunch of homosexual cowboys and giving out yards about it. And then you find out, I just assumed he grew up on a ranch in Texas. Apparently he grew up in the middle, like suburban Minneapolis. And
no!
Like, hang on, wait.
No, not that guy.
Yeah.
With the greatest mustache in TV. Like, this is...
He's like, she's making this, this woman, what does she know, making a Western in New Zealand. I was like, well, there's a lad by the name of Sergio Leone and Clint Eastwood who made a few films in Italy you might have heard of.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay, so, but yeah, it's, the TV show I wanted to get straight to, but Maisel popped into my head. Obviously, you're watching Yellowstone. The new Tolkien one, I saw somebody bitching about, well, it's not, I don't think Tolkien has written it, but it's about Tolkien's world is it pre Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I think it's like 1,000 years before the Lord of the Rings, the Power of the Rings, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's been a few of late, like the fucking, what did I watch? Was this fucking Circle or something, or oh Jesus Christ! There's a total fucking ripoff of a mixture of The Witcher and
the Wheel of Time.
The Wheel. Oh, I don't know why we stuck with it. I don't know why we stuck with it, but I just want to put a warning out there.
Yeah, I got about 10 minutes of that, and I was like, nope, because this is like, it was like when Harry Potter and Twilight came out. And Divergent, The Maze Runner, and all this stuff, and it's like it's all the same thing.
Yeah,
but I'm just curious for like a $1 billion TV show. What does that look like?
Yeah. Because
I think there'll be nothing more hilarious than that just being fine. You put $1 billion into this, and it's like, yeah, it's grand.
like as investors, you'd be fucking biting your nails because that's not. It's not 150 million. It's not even. It's you've gone to a big. I saw somebody bitching. I don't know. It was like. Fucking, I'm assuming it must have been TikTok or something, but they were like, like there's going to be black elves in it. And I was like, because I'm not, I'm just saying Tolkien's world. It was like, it's a fucking elf.
There was orcs and dragons and stuff. And if that's the most unbelievable part of it, there's a woman warrior and a black person in this show. Dragons wouldn't let black people on them. I was like, you have a fucking word with yourself.
Well, who's obviously, you Barry, who have you done in person? So since Barry, or have you, it's slowly but surely come back?
Yeah, Barry's been the only one. And that was a bit of a Yeah, it went well. It was just like got introduced spectacularly by the Disney rep. So it was
Go
in
on.
the hotel in town, whose name I can't remember. So you're all sitting in this little. So they have a room set up where he's being interviewed, and then there's a room where they're kind of brushing all the reporters, and we have to do COVID tests and stuff like that beforehand. So just before we were kind of going in order, I ran in. There's like a toilet there. Take a piss before we start. As I'm walking out, the ref from Disney, Mo, comes in and she says, Andy was like, literally just walking out of the toilet. Like, grand. So she leads me into the room. Barry's sitting there, all the camera crew and all this. And she's like, hi, Barry, this is Andrew. Sorry, he was just in the toilet there.
I like that.
So I sit down, and of course I was like, all right.
I won't shake.
I wasn't taking a shit. And that's the first thing I say to him. And he's just sitting there going, what? I was like, dig up, stupid. Like, just.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And he's just sitting there, like, nodding at me, going, what is this?
You see, I'd say if that was Farrell sitting in front of you and said, listen, I wasn't taking a shit.
Yeah.
He would have cracked up laughing. But like Barry's been in that since he was a child. Like, was he, his first big break was shooting a fucking cat or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, they strangled the cat in Love Hay.
Yeah, right. He strangled it. Okay, fair enough. And then, he's gone from strength to strength or whatever. So, he wouldn't have met a lot of fellas being cracking wise like in front of him. You know what I mean? Like,
he is. I don't know if you've seen a film he done called American Animals. Like, he is genuinely going to be like one of the best actors I think Ireland has ever produced. Like, if I was buying stock in people right now, like he would have been the one I'd be. That would have been my Bitcoin.
I haven't seen enough of him. Like, I saw him in Eternals, but it wasn't.
No,
I wasn't enamored.
Not an accurate representation of him.
I wasn't enamored by anything. And was it Dunkirk? No, it wasn't
Dunkirk. He was in, yeah.
He was silent through the most of it, to be honest.
Yeah, Dunkirk, he was like 10 minutes into the film. I think he gets a smack in the head and he's unconscious for the rest of the thing.
Yeah. Which is a great gig to get. If you've just been knocked out through the whole fucking thing, like. But so you reckon he's going to be? You've high hopes for him?
Yeah, I do. I reckon 2-3 years from now, he'd be A-list. I think it's the first one I've seen in a long time. Not just Irish actor, but the first actor I've seen in a long time. Is like, oh, you can do anything. Like the world is your absolute oyster. And the last person I kind of thought that about was Christian Bale.
Oh yeah,
he done fairly okay for himself. Did okay. That said, the one before that was Kevin Spacey. Granted, he did do okay.
He did whatever he wanted. He did whatever he wanted.
He done a bit too much of what he wanted, I think, from a legal standpoint. And I'm afraid to say too much about him because was it the last 2 people who made accusations against him mysteriously died in car crashes and suicides? So,
I'm telling you, yeah.
So I'm still a fan, Kevin.
Yeah. How's the cards? It's kind of real for you in a way. Yeah, you literally have people popped off. Yeah, fair enough.
I was slightly raging he didn't do a Christmas message this year.
Oh my God, like the mental shit. Where's your ego at? Mm-hmm. I mean, we were literally, before we hit record, we literally were only talking about somebody going, where's your fucking head at? Coming out with that. But for Spacey to do that was so fucking weird. He's poking the fire and he turns around and he's in character from House of Cards. Like,
I kind of, anything like that, I kind of reverse engineer. Like we were talking about the Liam Neeson thing. I wasn't thinking about him. I was thinking about the publicist who walked back in while this was going on. Went, oh, good God. What I'm thinking with the Kevin Spacey thing is like, there would have been like a videographer. And somebody who had to edit that together. Like, you get the phone call. Hi, how you doing? Kevin Spacey here. Yeah, we got a job here. I want you to record a video of me in character from the show I was fired for sexual assault, vaguely threatening the people making accusations against me. Like, what do you quote for that?
Yeah, you quote big. That's what you do. You quote fucking big. You quote a fuck off price. Because it's Kevin Spacey, you don't want to actually tell him to fuck off, but at the same time, you go 100,000 starting.
But just like that fella or girl walking out that morning, like telling their significant other, I'm going to work to, I don't know,
I don't know what I'm doing. I may be back.
I don't know if I'm making an apology video for a rapist. I'm not sure what exactly I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Christmas is here. You know, we need presents.
I guess, Kev, can we not be in the credits? Can we not be in the credits? Fine. Just so long as the check clears, everything will be fine. We just not be in the credits, if that's okay.
Well, that's what I want to see. I want to see like the documentary of the behind the scenes of the making of that.
It'd be like Fire Festival. Just going, I will suck his dick to make this happen.
Oh, Jesus, that chap was fantastic. Like that's the guy you want on your team.
Anybody that would go to that. I mean, anybody would go to that extent in any make, shape, or form. Like, I mean, who you want in your team though is the fellow who can convince him to fucking do it. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's who you want in your team. Never ever hang around with him because he's the worst person on earth. But at the same time, you're going, that guy can fucking, he's going places. He's going places.
Not anywhere good, but he's going places.
Oh, most likely to jail at some stage, yeah. How did Ja Rule fare out of Fire Festival? Out of all of it?
Yeah, geez, that just came and went as well, didn't it?
Well, it would have came and went had the documentary not, had the TV show not come out. Like, that was amazing.
Was Ja Rule like was there a big Ja Rule audience that he's after losing off the back of that? Or
it's like Richie Cavan basically. It's just, it'll be okay. He'll be all right. He'll bounce back in some fashion. But those fuckers pop up everywhere. Like you think, oh, they've fallen off the face of the earth, but them motherfuckers, they pop up everywhere. Like Wycliffe Sean. Did you see that a couple of months back? He was at the Land Rover, Land Rover Jaguar, the fucking CEO, and he has him on his shoulders, and then he dropped him.
Speaking of, have you seen the Tinder Swindler?
No.
Oh, it's fantastic. You have to.
Is it?
Oh, it is just. It would never work on an Irish girl for a lot of reasons. The first of all being he's leaving 20-minute voice notes on WhatsApp.
Ah, yeah, she'd have none of that.
Yeah, no.
Mentler.
And like the first day, like he meets this girl and he's like, "Have you got a passport? I'm going to take you on my private jet to XYZ." And all I kept thinking was, I need the Dublin version of this where you just would you ever fuck up?
Yeah.
You watch it, because not only I'm kind of convinced that there's at least one girl in it that if he was to text her now, I reckon in about 5 texts he would convince her this whole thing has been set up by Netflix and it's a scam and would be giving him money again. Also, these women have unlimited lines of credit. Like this woman's giving him like 100 grand. I was like, where are you getting 100 grand loans? Just willy-nilly.
This is the thing. Like, I mean, anybody who should be able to get their hands on 100,000 should be really smart. Do you know what I mean? You should be a really smart person. But yeah, I get perplexed by America sometimes. I've been there. There isn't all this wealth, but then all of a sudden you see this ridiculous wealth on some of these TV shows. You're like, what the fuck do you do? Like, you know, you're driving around an 80 grand fucking car. It does. That's one. I was wondering, was it like a catfish scenario? And I don't know if I could fucking tolerate another bit. Is it better than catfish?
Far better than catfish.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I read. Oh, the catfish documentary wasn't too bad, but it went on. But this is just the whole way. You especially, you will get, if nothing else, you'll get material for the show.
Great. Oh, great, grand. What? So before, have you sent out your review? Have you put out your review on Batman yet? Or are we allowed to? Is it a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways?
Thumbs sideways for me.
Okay.
And I am the biggest Batman fan in the world, but just the whole way through the film, I was going, "That's from the other film. That's from the other film. That's from 7." And it's not like I liked Joker. Like Joker was influenced obviously by a lot of like Scorsese films, like King of Comedy and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but it was like,
yeah.
I was never watching it going, "Oh, that scene is from King of Comedy," or that. Like, there's literally scenes in this film where they are word for word have been used in other films already.
I can't. When I see that happening, you're like, how is somebody at in the writers' room not going, "Whoa, fucking whoa, boys"?
It just feels like they didn't take it. Like whatever about the Zack Snyder version, which I wasn't a huge fan of. You watch that and you go, "Okay, that's Zack Snyder's Batman." You watch Christopher Nolan's, go, "Okay, that's Christopher Nolan's. That's Tim Burton's." This just looks like, you know, a Diet Nolan version of the Batman, and it's good because he's taken good bits from the other films, so you're still kind of entertained and there is good things in it, but you're just like, I wish you had just taking a fucking swing. Like the first 10 minutes of the film, I was like, yes, do that. Don't just, oh, we're going to take the interrogation. We're going to take, this bit from that. And it's like, ugh.
And how is what's the name? Robert Pattinson?
He's good in it. Like
Is
his
he?
Bruce Wayne is very good. I thought he's a fantastic actor.
Oh,
He
yeah.
really
No,
is.
he's a class actor, like, but.
And there like his Bruce Wayne is this kind of basically a emo brat.
That's kind of the vibe I got from seeing this trailer. All right, like.
And I thought that was like it's not like I'm cool guy Bruce Wayne. He's this fella who's like, look, I want to be killed doing this because my family's name is these billionaire cowards that died in a ditch. Whereas if I die as Batman, the Wayne name is this badass vigilante that'll do it. And I thought that's an interesting way to go. It's like he doesn't, but he's like, I want to be killed, but I want the name of the Waynes to be me, what I'm doing now. And then they just don't, like, his Batman is just I
was wondering was that going to was like, Jesus Christ. I was wondering was that thing going to fucking that rough voice thing, like it's it got sillier and sillier as it's gone on.
Yeah.
So if
like,
that's
it
the
begins
case,
was really good. That darkness. What? Like I liked what they done with the Ben Affleck when we had the kind of the voice distorter. I thought that was a cool way.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But then
Michael Keaton is just like, no, I'm just gonna be me.
Yeah. So other than what dates is Dublin Comic Con? Because I'm not up, but I don't think I'm up. No, I'm not up for it. I'm actually gigging in Cork, but for anybody who's out and about.
The 12th and 13th of March, we've got Ron Perlman. There's going to be a very special guest as well, which I can't reveal yet, but trust me, it's worth the price of admission alone for that one. Shannon Elizabeth from American Pie is going to be there. We've a lot of people from Walking Dead. We've the twins from Breaking Bad doing the photo op. So if you want to sit with them with an axe,
the two big Mexican lads.
Yeah. I'm doing a panel with them as well. And I was like,
that's mind blowing to say that they are, like, they're part of the fandom now, that they're making they're getting gigs, and they didn't utter a fucking word during the TV show.
And that's the ones that, like, they end up I'm doing a panel with them where it's like basically I'd interview them for about 30 minutes and then we do the fan questions. But they do be the ones that do be the best crack. Like I literally went on their Wikipedia to look up stuff about them. It's like they were in Breaking Bad. One of them was arrested for stealing a car. You're like, oh shite. And then I was looking at clips on YouTube, and the two of them just seemed like complete buzzers. Because I was kind of panicking, thinking, do they even speak English? Like, is this going to be to fucking learn Spanish for this? No, the two of them just seem like they're great crack. And I think that's the kind of panels where you have a bit of buzz with as well.
Good.
Because there was that initial shite. What am I going to ask them for? Like, steal any cars lately? Or what do you do here? But no, it seems like they'd be good crack.
Yeah, them boys are going to be sauced up, so if that's the case. Great. Get plenty of liquor into them. That's the fucking main thing. And is there anything else coming up, Andy McCarroll wise? What do people keep an eye out for?
Yeah, I've a podcast called Extravision, where
of course, Jesus, yeah,
which you were supposed to be on.
You haven't asked me.
I know, that was the whole point from last time. So the Extravision was on pause for a while because it was going to be moving somewhere else, but that doesn't look like it's happening now. So I'm going to be back doing it myself. So what it is, the concept around Extravision is obviously grown up living in video stores. The idea is if you were to go back into Extravision and pick 3 films from there to watch, not necessarily your favorite films, what you think are the best films, but ones that mean something to you.
Yes.
What 3 would you pick? So we've had a couple of good guests. Like Charles Regan was on, John Connors on it, Kevin McGahern is going to be on it next week. So that'll be the start of the new season, and hopefully Tom will be on it fairly shortly as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Well, Andy, I can't believe we actually stayed between the ditches on this one and actually stayed kind of in the wheelhouse that we didn't get weird at all.
Disappointed we didn't go off on mad Conor McGregor tangents like we usually do. I just, the amount of times it popped up in my head, MMA, stay in the fucking pocket, Tom, stay in the pocket. But to be fair, I don't think we can get Me Too through much of that. Was there? We might get offed by Spacey, but I think we're okay. I think we're okay. I don't think we're going to get cancelled this time round anyway. I don't think so. There was almost no nudity through the whole thing. Yeah, you're going to lose. Well, I tried. You just kept turning off my camera. But you're going to have to get back some of that Spotify money as well. So
Andy McCarroll, thanks a million.
Cheers.